Alright, time for my first drama! Call me Walk Clover, cause Mr. Harrington, I think you suck. Well, not actually. I don't know much about you, but you seem quite lovely. I'm glad you got a new tablet and are going to start releasing more content over on @CalebHarrington on YouTube. Link in the description. But for everyone else, you came here for the takedown, and I am here to deliver. For those of you unaware, a few months back, Caleb Harrington released a video titled How Pathfinder's Math Tells a Better Story, and it got tons and tons of views. Now, as is tradition in VTubing culture, I have to attempt to slander someone more successful than myself to gain a fraction of their power and viewership. I'm sorry, Mr. Harrington, it's nothing personal. Anyway, the point of the video is that in D&D 5e, the difference in modifiers between a first level and 17th level fighter really won't be that different. Think about it. If you have a 16 strength at first level and upgrade that to a 20 strength by 17th level, you'll go from a +5 to hit to a +11 to hit. Which, as an aside, you'll probably have a 17 strength or higher at first level based on whatever ancestry you chose, so the floor already might be closer to the ceiling in terms of growth. Meanwhile, in Pathfinder, you have incremental increases to your proficiency modifier like in 5e, but on top of that, you also add your level to such rolls. This means instead of a +6 increasing over 16 levels to be a +11, that +6 might become a +26 over the same time period. Obviously, it depends on what skills you have, what level you are, etc., but on top of that, you'll usually have additional floating modifiers from abilities and spells that your party uses to buff you. So in this circumstance, the ceiling will grow further from the floor in terms of growth. The thesis of Harrington's video was, in essence, that the progression over time in Pathfinder's math is more narratively cohesive and satisfying than in D&D 5e. And in this response video, this takedown video, I'm here to say... Yeah, he's right. D&D 5e's math doesn't tell that story. D&D 3 and 3.5, which first edition Pathfinder was based off of, did have that narrative math, but Harrington is talking about 5e. And even in my own videos, I've echoed the same sentiments he's talked about, with folks trying to force 5e to conform to their idealized game, instead of just trying different systems. So why make this video? Simple. I think context is important. The reason Pathfinder 2e works the way it does is because it's based off of D&D 3rd edition, as I said. If you know anything about 3rd edition, you know it was crunchy, numbers-oriented, very logical in its rulings and progressions, but it was so much effort to do anything. To attack, you'd have your ability bonus, proficiency bonus, level bonus, class bonus, racial bonus, skill bonus, weapon bonus, magic bonus, profession bonus, bonus bonus, bonus bonus, bonus, and then you could start looking at your feats. And I only made some of those up. A lot of players love that. Not just loved, love it. They still play Pathfinder or 3.5 to this day, but a bunch of people hate it. Many tables instituted house rules to streamline play, and as much as I feel Harrington was right to focus on the zero to hero fantasy 5e attempts to sell, many players think you should be able to get lucky and hit a dragon at first level. They get frustrated when Cthulhu doesn't have a health bar, for better or worse. And importantly, they felt low-level enemies should be dangerous even at higher levels. So that's why 5e is based around the concept of bounded accuracy. Have you ever run into the issue where a single villain gets obliterated by a party who's significantly lower level than them? Or the party gets overwhelmed by a swarm of enemies whose CR is half the character levels? That's bounded accuracy at work, where the numbers were flattened, so action economy became more important than stats. Consider how few enemies have an AC over 20. Consider how even a high-level fighter in full plate wielding a shield and with the defense fighting style only hits a 21 AC, assuming none of it's enchanted. That means a CR 1/4 goblin with its +4 modifier to hit will have a 20% chance to hit that fighter. It won't deal much damage, but consider throwing 40 goblins at a single high-level fighter with 21 AC. Death by 1,000 cuts is real, and it is coming for you. Now, I can't bring up numbers in 5e without also mentioning how 5e is the streamlined edition and they dumbed it down for the normies. That's not really wrong, but I think it's not a very healthy way of looking at it, and it's certainly not nuanced. 5e is one of the most accessible forms D&D has ever been in. Based on my demographics and how old most people watching this are, the vast majority of you likely only got into D&D because of 5e and its popularity in actual plays. Even Critical Role initially was a Pathfinder game before swapping to 5e when they began streaming on Geek and Sundry. All of that is to say, yes, Pathfinder's math tells a more compelling story than D&D 5e's. and I think there is real value in that. But there's also value in accessibility for new players and the ability for DMs to incorporate low-level enemies at higher levels. The way Pathfinder works, you need high-level monsters to compete with high-level parties. In 5e, you can run a dungeon of kobolds and a 17th level party feels genuinely a danger. Well, maybe not a 17th level party, they're kind of invincible at that point. Maybe like a 13th or 14th level party, definitely anything under 10th. And most 5e game balance falls apart after around level 10 anyway, because they really only intend for you to play up to that point. One thing I will say though, is stop playing D&D 5e if you want to play a game promoting a fantasy other than what D&D 5e supports. I can't believe I have to say that so much. I love homebrew, I run almost exclusively with it, but I also love other TTRPG systems and recognize that 5e is not a one-size-fits-all. I know people who have run combatless dating sims in 5e in which I'm glad they're having fun, but D&D might be one of the worst systems for that. Now I'm thinking of what system would be good for a dating sim. Vampire the Masquerade would be fun, particularly if it's a Camarilla themed game where the romance is part of the politicking. City of Mist would be interesting since romance would help add a narrative tug away from the core mystery and by extension, the character's mythos. A paranoia dating sim would be hilarious. No, Call of Cthulhu dating sim where the romance options will make you go insane. It's TTRPG sucker for love. Anyways, thanks for coming to my hate-filled takedown of a more successful YouTuber. If you'd like to wish ruin upon his house, click here or the link in the description. Be sure to show your displeasure with him by subscribing to his channel, liking his video, and commenting under it. Just be sure to say nice things. We want to do reverse psychology here. This is so dumb. Have fun.